Hello and welcome to this third part where we're going to look at the introduction to scripting. So if we open Roblox Studio like this, then we can go and open the tutorials that will redirect us to the Creator Hub. What I will do is to go to this scripting section and let's begin with the basic gameplay, and then we will go through this introduction to scripting. So in this introduction to scripting, we're going to create this platform that will disappear and then appear again so that we can jump over. And you can of course find all the code inside this tutorials also, but I will show you how you do it. And of course going to describe what the code is going to do for us. So let's go back to Roblox Studio, and from in here we can just go and choose the base plate. Then we will go and get this clean project where we first of all need to go to the workspace, and then let's go and remove this base plate. So you can just hit delete on it, and then let us go up to this part where we can click on the arrow, and then we can just choose a block. So the first block we create here is just the platform that we're going to spawn on. So let's just go and move this a little bit down here and move the camera so we can see where we put it right there. And next let's go and scale it up, and if you hit Control and Shift at the same time and then stretch it, then you can see it will just get bigger without actually ruining the dimensions of it. So again, we can go back and say move, and let's move it a bit down. So this is going to be the start platform we're going to spawn on. And of course we need to go and anchor this also so that it will not drop down when we start the game. And next up, let's go and duplicate this. So you can actually just hit Control D. Then over in our Explorer, you can see that we got a new part just inside the part that we already have. So let's go and make that the end platform that we need to end at. So we can just drag it like this. And again, hit Control D to duplicate this. So we can drag it in the middle here. And if we just scale this with the green one here again, then we can make it to a plate so that we can just go over this plate to come to the end box that we have here. So now we can actually get started with the coding. So this part here is the part in the middle, is the plate we created that we want to have to disappear and reappear again. So first of all, let's go and rename it, and we could just go and call it disappearing platform like in the written tutorial. And after that we need to hit this plus icon. So we want to add a new script, and when you add a new script like this, you want to rename it so that you know what it's doing. And in the tutorial they just call it disappear, but I think we should maybe call it toggling platform or something like that, because it will not only disappear, we also want it to appear again after a certain period of time. But now let's go and delete the code here, and then we want to create our first variable. So it should just be a local variable, and we want to actually store our platform in a variable so that we can do stuff with it. So we want to just go and call this for platform and put it equal to, and then they actually have a very logical way to get the platform, I think, because you can just write script, and it makes sense because this is a script. So if we target this script and then say we want its parent, then if you go to our Explorer over here, we have the script. So we say that we want to have the script and then the parent of that script, and that is the disappearing platform. So roughly by doing this, we actually get the platform inside a variable that we can now go and do stuff with. So now that we have the platform, we need to go and make some functions that will go and do the thing that we want it to do. And if you're not familiar with functions, then it's actually just a wrapper for some code that we can go and reuse over and over again. But it might make more sense if we just do it. So the way we're going to create a new function is actually go and say local again. Then we want to say we want to create a function. And in this case, we actually want to make a function for both the disappearing, but we also want to create a function later on to make it appear again. So I just called this for disappear, and that is actually the name of the function. Then we create these parentheses. In this case, we put nothing in between. And normally you could go and put a parameter in here that you could go and use inside the function. But to keep this simple for now, we will just go and make it empty. and then it will automatically go and say that this is the end of the function. So to make the platform disappear, it's actually pretty simple inside Roblox Studio, because we will just go and take our platform, then we can say dot, because now when we have our platform, we know that the platform is now this object over here, and this object have a lot of attributes. If we click on it, you can see down here that we actually have a lot of attributes, so we can manipulate the position and the size. And you can also see here we have the transparency, and that's actually a thing that we programmatically will go and change instead of doing it manually here. So for example, when you have this disappearing platform, the transparency is set to 0, and in programming 0 is false, so that means that this is not transparent right now. But if we go and put it to 1, then if we go back to our base plate here where we can see the animations, then you can see it's actually transparent now. And you can also go and make it 0.5, for example, then it's like half transparent, and so on. So we will just go and put it to 0 now, because we want to make this inside our script. So now that we know that this is the object, and we can say dot to get some of the attributes, we can actually just go and say dot and then transparency as it is down here. So we can go and say dot transparency, and then we could go and set it equal to 1. So that was just be like that we go down here and set it to 1, then it will be transparent and it will vanish. Then another thing in Roblox is that we need to say that you cannot collide with the platform anymore. Even though it's transparent, then it's actually still there. So once again, if we go and scroll down over here, you can go and see that we have this can collide, and it's checked. So that means that you can actually jump on the platform and collide with it. And that's actually a thing that we also want to turn off. So the way we do it is to say platform again, and then we say can collide, and that should be equal to false. And the reason it is false is because this is a checkbox. There is no values like in the transparency. So either it's false or it's true. And right now, as you can see down here, it's true, but we want to set it to false when the platform should disappear. So now we created the function to make the platform disappear, but actually right now if you run it, nothing will happen because we never call this. You need to call a function to actually execute what is inside. So the way we do it is actually just by go and put it down here, so that when this script is running, it would look at this line, then it will look at this function and say, okay, we have a function, but we never do anything with it until we hit this line, because then we actually execute everything inside. So let's go and play this and let's see if it is disappeared. Okay, so as you can see, everything fall down. So let's just go and say stop again. And let's try to click on the parts here, and then we need to say anchor. I don't know why it's tabbed off. I don't know. I just think I put anchor on everyone. But then you could actually see what happens if you don't anchor the things. So let's try and play it again. And now you can see we have the platforms here. So right now it is disappeared and you cannot collide with it. You will just fall down and die. So let's go and make an appear function also. So let's go and remove this. We don't want to execute it right now. We can just go and copy and paste this function because it's almost the same. We could go and say that this is appear, and when we want the platform to appear again, we want the transparency to go to 0, and then we want the collide to go to true. So now we actually have the logic to both appear the platform and to disappear the platform. So the way that we want to have it to turn on and switch off again is done by a while loop, and it's actually an infinite loop that we're going to create. I know in other programming language you don't want to create infinite loops, but I think because this is a game and it's inside Roblox, then it's okay to create infinite loops. But in reality, you have to take real care of it because it can crash your computer. But what we want to do is to go and say while, and then we want to say true, and then we want to say do, and hit enter. Then it will also end it automatically. So what this piece of code is doing is actually just looping through forever right now because we set it to true. So it really just means that we're going infinite. And I also need to say that this while will run as long as this value in here between the while and do is true. So as you can see now, we set true, so it will just always be true. We cannot do anything more about this. And then we just say do because we want to make it do something inside the loop. So as I read the description here, if we go back to this written tutorial, you can also see that Roblox themselves are going to make a warning about this while true, because they say whatever you do, never make a while true loop without including a task wait. So it's really just because we need to put this task wait inside our while loop that it is going to return true right now, because else you should not do it. And you can also see here your game will freeze if you just go and make a while true without this task wait inside. So the first thing we will do is to go and add this task.wait, and let's say 3, because this is 3 seconds. So that is the first thing this loop will do, is just to wait 3 seconds. And that's because we start with the platform where it is actually appearing, so we can jump over it. Then there will go 3 seconds, and then we could just go and call this disappear. So after 3 seconds, the platform will go and disappear and execute this code. And then you could go again and say wait 3 seconds even more, and say you want to make it appear again. So in this case, it do also make sense that we make a while true, because we just want to make this loop forever, where it just wait 3 seconds. We want to make it disappear, wait 3 seconds, and make it appear again. So let's go and test it. And if we just turn around, you can see the platform is now appearing. And then 3 seconds after, it will disappear. And then we can run over. And let's try to jump through it here. So you can see it will disappear totally with no collide. So that was actually the introduction to scripting. It was pretty simple. We want to go and create some more advanced stuff in the next couple of videos. So thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.